Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the second half of the broadcast. Welcome back to the OSC Elite Rising Star number 18, day 1. It's been a pretty short broadcast day, I'll be honest. We're reaching 2 hours and we already finished 3 best of 3s. I mean, that sounds about right. But for the most part, these series have been pretty short. They've been pretty short games, pretty short matches. We've seen nothing but all-in. Nothing but all-ins. At least in the last series, we got up to 3 base all-ins. True, but still a hyper-aggression. And we haven't really seen much back and forth mid-game, or any back and forth mid-game yet, but I feel like that is about to change. I feel like it should change. Up next, we do have a best of 3 between Mute and Eba. Now, I am of the opinion that Eba is going to be hyper aggressive and is going to be hyper aggressive and very in the face of Mute. Mute is typically a little more mid to late game oriented, so I don't really see too much aggression coming out from Mute's side of things. At least, you know, based on our experiences with these players. So we might actually embrace the late game. I can see that happening. The problem is that I know that Eba hates the late game in this matchup. In PvZ, I know he hates it. I know it's one of the reasons why he switched to Protoss. So I'm not entirely convinced. We'll find out together. We'll find out together here as we jump into our ZvP. Let's go. We're jumping into our Protoss versus Zerg. Into our 5th best of 3. Again, we got 3 more matches ahead of us here. 3 more to go. As spawning in the top right-hand corner of Tourmaline, we have the Peruvian Protoss player. We have the Teal Protoss representing Bing Bong Exports. It is Mute. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the Red Zerg player. The Red Zerg player himself representing the Platinum Heroes. It is and through the chat, it is Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat. Let's go. All to 0. Yes. So far, every series has been 2-0. And we've been seeing nothing but all-ins. They've been succeeding. They've been failing. But so far, just very short matches, very fast games. We'll see if that changes here and now. So far, do have our hatch first. Should be hatch guys pulled out of Eba. Likewise, Mute's going for his own standard opener as well. Welcome to Tourmaline. Tourmaline is one of the smallest maps in the map pool, one of the shorter maps, smaller maps, shorter rush distance by ground. Aggression is favored on Tourmaline, and in my mind, Eba will be going for a 3 base all-in. I'm expecting a 3 base all-in, potentially 2.5 base all-in. True. But Eba, he's not one to embrace a longer and later game in this matchup. But he does do so against Terran and against Zerg, but against Protoss, no shot. So we'll see. To be fair, I have not casted Eba in months. It's been a long time. Actually, you know what? Let's look it up. As we do have Mute being as annoying as possible. Let's have a look here. Eba. So the last time I casted Eba was back in November. And before that, it was back in September. Jesus, it's been a while. Fun fact: the last time I casted Eba was OSC Elite Rising Star number 16. so 2 editions ago, technically 3. So it's been a while. Since I casted Eba. He's not the most active of players nowadays. He's been streaming a little bit more as of late. A little bit. He streams every now and then. He smurges. But here we go. So far, standard opener into a Stargate. So Stargate follow up here by Mutes. This should lead into Oracles and lead into a 3rd expansion. Technically, Mute, he could go for a Void Ray. Based on the rally here, it does look like a Void Ray is a very real potential to hunt down the Overlord. We'll keep an eye on Mute. Otherwise, should just be Oracle. Pura vida, pero saludos. Saludos, papi, saludos. Bienvenidos. As Mute gets eyes on the 3rd base. Likewise, Stargate is now done. Opening up. Oracle. There we go. Oracle's on the way. So Mute is building up. From here, you can now expand, build up into triple Oracle, into a third Nexus. The next big thing that we're looking for here is the timing of the Twilight Council. If the Twilight Council is early, it's more indicative of Glaive Adepts. If it's later with a Forge, it's more indicative of +1 Blink or +1 in charge. So eyes are open for that Twilight Council. Meanwhile, Eva is just droning, just chilling back at home, building up on 3 bases. Nothing crazy, nothing wild. Just saturating. Yeah. See the load going in. Oh, that is going to be a bit of an earlier Twilight Council, though. Twilight Council and a Forge, but earlier than normal. The Overlord will confirm this. Now, this could just be an inefficient build, or this could be something more sinister. I'm leaning more towards charge and +1. But we'll see. Just to hit an earlier charge timing, but eyes are on mute. Meanwhile, Mute is active with the Oracles. Again, they can one-shot drones. They can, they will. He gets 1. He gets 2. Get 2. Oh, 2.5 drones go down. Barely doesn't get the 3rd drone. And oh, that is not what I was like. Okay. I was like, he's crazy. For a moment there, glaives did begin, which made no sense. But there it is. There is charge. As I mentioned before, the earlier tech, the earlier buildings was indicative of charge more than blink. Based on what we saw, I mean, if you remember, Ebo saw the same thing. He also saw the earlier Twilight Council and earlier Forge timings, so this should be in the back of his mind. And we get a Safety Roach Warren. So Safety Roach Warren, so far a good call. Oracles, they did it back in, they get 2 more drones. 2 more drones. Pulls away. Zealots are banking up. And Eba, he already has the tools to defend. Now it comes down to whether or not Eba actually makes any roaches. As he's working on +1 range. So he is building up the roaches. Hydrogen gets thrown down. Hopefully Eba isn't too greedy. The Hydrogen is a little bit much. Bearing in mind that we're banking up Zealots for that +1 timing. +1 is almost done. The upgrades are on the way. And we're going to wait for 1 more warping of Zealots. Building up to 6 gateways. Mute will soon pull the trigger. Here it is. Yeah, the final wave. The final wave of Zealots. Mute does activate. Oh, Spire? Oh, we're being too greedy. We're being far too greedy. Eba, he got his Roach Warren, but then he got +1 range, and he got the Hydra, then he got the Spire as well. We need roaches, Pappy. We need roaches. Because Mute, it looks like he's waiting for another wave, actually. This would make sense if he warped in, if he had already warped in like 3 or 4 High Templar. I mean, look at this. Storm is almost done, but he doesn't have anything for it. He has no High Templar. So this is going to be a little bit weaker. Like, imagine this hitting with like 3 storms. Regardless, he's pushing out. Eva's been quite greedy. He's got 9 roaches that defend. Zealot collapse in. They break through the lings. They're getting those other roaches. They're trying to at least. Mute does back off. Cleans up the lings. Playing it safe. Eba defends. Wow, Eba, he does defend. He does make the roaches in time. He cancelled. Good call. Good call. Did cancel the Spire. Thank God. So cancel the Spire. He's building up his roaches and then working on Hydra upgrades. And Eba, he does defend in time. That was close. That was close. That was clutch. And once again, Mute, like, it was a bit of a weird setup there just because he had built up his Storm so quickly, but didn't get to make use of it. So Eba holds. Eba holds. Eba is droning up to 68. That is 3 base saturation. So we're cutting workers at 68. We're making nothing but roaches and hydras, and Eba should be maxing out. We just saw a storm on an overseer. Well played, Pappy. Well played. Eba might just end the game, by the way. We're the Immortals, right? We need defensive Immortals, we need defensive Archons. With a purely Zealot Zealot High Templar defense, it's going to be a shaky defense here for Mute. Eba's maxed. Eba's maxed out. From here, pushing forward. Does have to respect the storms. It's a first. First storm lands. Eba breaking into the natural, peeling off some roaches, going for the robo. Ooh, G powers almost everything. The Archosis Pylon. Nice storms. Oh, we are down the storms. We're standing in it. Jesus Christ. He stands in the storm. Stasis Trap goes up as well. One more storm would have killed everything, and Mute is holding. Wow, Mute is holding on. Remember, Eba was maxed, by the way. Eba was at 200 supply, and now he plummets here. He plummets in supply. Mute is holding, Mute is defending, and Mute is snowballing out of control. Oof, and now Eba throws down the Infestation Pit. Now Eba starts droning after the push fails. Eba will lose all of these roaches. He should lose all the roaches. Ooh, that's a kill, not a cancel. Okay. Kills the expansion, but the reality is that Mute can A-move. Like, Mute, he has a large enough army to just move across the map. The one thing that's keeping Mute back is no War Prism. If he had a War Prism, he could reinforce, Jesus. You could reinforce and then just commit across the map and just roll over Eba. Eba needs time, late drones, late saturation, late tech, but he's getting there. Hive is on the way. Lurkerton is on the way. If Mute backs off, if Mute throws down a Fleet Beacon and throws down a Stargate and starts working towards Sky Toss and turtles up, then he will give Eba the chance to recover. We'll give him the chance. Mute doesn't give him that chance, so he does start to push. We're lacking an army here, though. Where are the war pins? Yeah, we're missing a war pin. We need gateway reinforcements. As everything's coming together. Where's that war pin, by the way? That was like there it is. Warping in 6 zealots. Now we can push. Mute, he's missing his window. Like, now he can push, and because he's not pushing, the lurker's gonna finish. Yeah, so Mute's just a little bit too passive, a little bit too defensive here. We need some confidence, Pappy. He could have broken Eba 100%, but now there are lurkers, and that complicates things. Now Eba has a defense. Now I will say that Mute can still break Eba. He can still break him, but now it's gonna be more difficult. Can he get on top of the lurkers? We need their storms. At the same time, Eba threatening a counterattack, going for his own push.
Hey, your base is under attack.
Yeah, Mute turns back around. He turns around, he races back home. Oof, oh god. Catching a good chunk of Roche Hydra. A good chunk gets caught. As we're just buying time for a lurker range. Lurker range does finish. And now we get the Fleet Beacon. Now we get the Stargate. This is late. Either we needed this earlier or not at all. So as we predicted at the beginning of this game, we are going into the late game or the beginning of the series. We're finally getting some late game here. I will say that Mute did miss like maybe 2 or 3 opportunities to kill. He did miss some opportunities here. And Eba now has a chance. Now has a chance. You're just pushing in between the bases. Pushing into a massive wall of lurkers. Does have some detection, but yeah, cannot push in. There are just so many lurkers here. How many are there? 14. Jesus. 14 lurkers. Zealots, I try to peel off to hit the left-hand side. Okay, center expansion goes down. Not bad. Archons are breaking through the Hydras. I would say that Mute, he's trading relatively well here. Getting a base, getting an expansion, but he has to get out of here. And oh no! The High Templar! Yeah, volley goes off, getting 2. 3 High Templar go down. Aye, that should not have happened. Nice Picos out of Eva. Very nice. Back in home, we're making 3 Tempests at a time. Mute is perfecting his army, but again, there's a window. There's a window here where Eba can try to kill Mute before Sky Toss. There is a window. Now Zerkers will get behind the mineral line. Even pushing in, catching up more High Templar, getting 1, getting 2 more High Templar. Yeah, and the Immortal. Did take a storm to the face. Ooh, Eva overextending a little bit here, but where's the detection? Yeah, Spy Shot's going off. Mineral Line is going to be going down. Where is that Observer? Just now coming in. 26 probe kills. Oof, and Mute, he's stacking up too much. He's stacking up far too much. 3 more Immortals go down. 4, 5, every Immortal falls. And Mute just falling apart here. Losing 31 workers at the same time. The Soul Lurker shedding away at the expansion. Mute losing everything on the ground. The Immortals, the Archons, the High Templar. And again, as I mentioned before, like Mute, he had opportunities to kill. Like he was ahead in this game for a lot of this game. But it was a late switch into Sky Toss. A late setup. But he saw his moment. He seized it. Oh my god. He took it, baby. And now Mute is crippled. Mute now cannot afford to rebuild his army. Earlier we had, what, 5, 6 Immortals? Now we have 0. Right? 0 Immortals. The ground army is not much weaker. There are a lot of Tempests, that's great and all, but Tempests, they need support. They need Immortals, Archon, Storm. That is a lot of High Templar, to be fair. It's a lot of Templar, a lot of Storm. Not a Storm here in the back line. Lurker jump into the main. Where luck is every Lurker here towards left, Lurkers towards the right. Lurkers are moving in. Oh. As you can see, our Mute just cannot gain ground. And once again, just losing more probes. Losing more probes, more economy. Jesus. Eba, he can't afford to lose his space. And he's tempted. He's going for the dive. Oh, gets High Templar. Gets 1. Gets 2. 3. There's 1 Templar left. There's 1 Templar remaining. It does have a Storm. It's a Mute he has to go through. He has to commit. He can't turn around. Oh my god. And there's the final Storm. And now there's no more support here. I say that, then I speak too soon. We have Zealots coming in as well. Mute, can he break Eba? He might be able to. This might be too much. Takes down the Hydras, takes down the Lurker. The Mass Zealot might be too much to deal with. The Zealots are pretty good. The Charge Loves. Yeah, they're breaking through. They're breaking through the Hydras. There's, what, 4 Hydras left. Going for the Abduction, which doesn't really do much. Yeah, it takes out one of the Tempests. We got, what, 6 Tempests left. Hydras are trickling in. A very clutch defense here by Eba. It's clutch, but he's done it. Oh my god. He barely has enough Hydras. The Spore moves forward. Clutch Transfuse. At the same time, Lurkers, they're still just being getting damaged the entire time. Lurkers are popping off. Mute almost had enough. Casito, papi, casito. Almost had enough on the ground. But the lack, like, imagine if these Lurkers weren't doing damage. Imagine if he could warp in 2 extra wave of Zealots. Like, that would have been game. Like, even here, the Chargers, they just punish the Hydras. We could have had so much more mineral income and so many more Zealots as a result. As the Lurker kills the expansion, maybe? Oh, 1 more shot. Oh my god, Nexus goes down. Down goes the 3rd. Down goes the 4th. 2 bases full to single Lurkers. Yeah, these lurkers, they're just buying so much time. And Eba is remaxing. Lurker gets away. Oh, jeez. As Mute is down to one base mining. One base. This is the only base left, so really mining. And even then, there's nothing here. Massive launch on the Tempest. Not worth it. Jesus. Yeah, not quite worth it. Lurker is dealt with. Now the Swarm does go down. Evo pushing in. Oof. Has to babysit that Viper. This is still very clutch. Numbers are in favor of Eba, but at the same time, a couple of well-placed Storms can annihilate these Hydras. As Eba has to play it slow. He's got to play it slow. Play it safe. Oh. Does go for the abduction, catching out one of the Tempest. Oh god, massive storms. We're stacking storms though. Yeah, a bit of a waste. Yeah, a bit of a waste. In the end, the Grand Army goes down. Massive lunge. GG gets called, and Eba will take game number 1. Whew. GG. Ay, ay, ay. GG, well played again. Mute had such a strong start. He had such a strong start. He was ahead. We mentioned there was a big window in time, like 3 or 4 minutes, where Mute could have pushed, could have counterattacked, could have killed before Lurker attack. But he waited too long. He waited too long. The Lurkers, they got up and running, and he also waited too long to then get into Sky Toss as well. So very delayed responses and delayed reactions out of Mute allowed Eba to recover, to bounce back from an earlier deficit, and to make a game out of it. GG. GG well played. Despite that, it was still very close. It was still very, very close towards the end. Like, you saw that if it wasn't for the Lurker harass, I feel like Mute would have had enough to overwhelm the army, to just keep orbing in, keep reinforcing, and to break the defending Zerg player. Still very close. GG. GG well played. Whew, and with that, Eba takes game number 1, and now we're going to be loading into game 2. We'll see if Eba can close it out here and now. We'll see if Mute can bounce back. Let's go. As we are loading into Ruby Rock. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Ruby Rock, we have the Peruvian Protoss player. We have the Teal Protoss representing Bing Bong Exports. It is Mute. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the Red Zerg player. The Red Zerg player himself from the UK, representing the Platinum Heroes. It is Eba. Eba. But here we go. Welcome to Ruby Rock. Ruby Rock is one of the smaller maps in the map pool. Aggression is favored here on Ruby Rock, and we'll see how aggressive our players plan on being, bearing in mind that winding it back, it was a long game. It was a long game 1, the longest we've had so far tonight. But Eba did open things up with an all-in. Remember, he cut workers early at 68. There we go. Was that 68 drones, 3 base saturation? He did go for his own all-in, and the all-in failed. It was a Roach Hydra all-in, and we saw that Mute was able to shut it down, defend incredibly well, and take a lead from there. The problem was that Mute didn't capitalize on that defense. He didn't capitalize on his advantage. He shut down the all-in, he got ahead, took a really strong fight, but didn't counterattack. He did not counterattack. He stayed at home, he stayed passive, and it allowed Eba to drone, to tech, to recover, and to get into Hive, to get into Lurker Tech. Just for some greater context as to what I was referring to when I mentioned that Mute was ahead and Mute had a big window where he could have crippled and even punished Eba, it was after Eba's failed all-in and after Mute's successful defense where he was overly defensive and overly passive. But here we go. Here we go. We are now getting into game number 2, and we'll see how our players do adjust, how we deviate. For now, standard openers, hatch gas pull out of Eba. Oh, the drone! That should not have happened. That should not have happened. The drone goes down. A 1-to-1 trade. Ay. So cheeky moves there out of mutes. Kills. I mean, he does trade, I suppose. Does lose or does kill a drone. From here, we're going to be building up. So far, Stargate out of mute. Nothing crazy. Standard opener. Likewise, Hatch Gas Pool out of Eba, claiming his 3rd expansion. Vámonos, mute. Vámonos. They're gonna go to bed at 3 a.m. Aha, buenas noches, baby, buenas noches. 3 a.m. Oh, yes, if you're in Europa, it's very late. It's very late. Get some sleep. Animals. Ay. Este chileno. Bienvenidos. Este chileno. For now, the links they do slip in. Threading the main. For now is going to be that Stargate. And again, should be Oracle first. There we go, Oracle is on the way. Now, once again, just like last game, our eyes are going to be on the Twilight Council timing. If you recall, last game, we did notice that the Twilight Council and Forge were earlier than normal, and that was indicative of early charge, which is what Mute went for. So once again, we're looking to see if it's going to be an early Twilight Council, if it's going to be an early Forge, if it's going to be a later Council instead, and if there's going to be a Forge at all. Technically, we could see like a fast robot. Oh! Hello. It's going to be Oracle into Void Ray. Very interesting. Obviously, the role of the Void Ray is to hunt down Overlords. To hunt down Overlords, to deny vision, deny scouting, and to potentially hide the tech. Now, whether or not there's anything to hide, I mean, that's yet to be determined. It is not uncommon to go Void Ray and play Standard and just kind of have that idea, or just kind of play with that ambiguity that you now have, where your opponent doesn't know what's going on. The mind games. Or you might actually hide something. It's going to be a 427 Roach Warren timing out of Eva. So safety Roach Warren, double Forge? Oh, we are hiding something. That's crazy. Double Forge, double upgrades, that is very unorthodox. I would assume, yep, double Forge into a Robo, into a delayed Twilight Council. This looks like the setup for something more robust. This looks like the setup of, say, like an Immortal Archon heavy composition in the mid game. So we're not rushing into anything. We're being, in a sense, kind of greedy. Getting us a fast +1 upgrades. So fast 1/1 upgrades, no charge, no glaives, no blink. The downside of this build is that Mute is going to be relinquishing any kind of map control. Typically there'd be like Adepts harassing, or Stalkers being active, or Zealot timings across the map. Jesus, as the Void Ray gets 3 drones already, getting up to 4. Oh my god, Jesus, that should not be happening. 4 drones go down, Ebo is out of position. But again, this is quite greedy from Mute, and it takes a while to really kick in. I would imagine we're going to be hitting a 2-2 timing. 1-1 is going to be available as well. But in my mind, 2-2 is going to be the go-to. As this Void Ray has done well. Killing drones, getting an Overlord. Eva is making safety roaches. Now, if Eba goes for another 3-base all-in just like last game, I believe Eba could kill. It's going to be a more difficult defense here. I believe that the 1/1 upgrades will be done in time for the defense, that is true, but without blink and without charge, it is the all-in. Oh, actually, I'm getting ahead of myself. Overlord speed is typically reserved for dropper lords and for German taxis and for 3-base all-ins or 2.5-base all-ins, but specifically in this situation, it would make sense for Ebo to try to scout just because he has no information. But based on the fact that he's not droning, means that now he's going all in. So he's going to be cutting workers at 57. This is a much earlier all-in. Remember, last game he went for a 3-base all-in off of 68 drones. This time it's a 2.5-base all-in off of 57 drones. So this is a much earlier all-in, less drones, less saturation, and of course the queens are coming into play. So here come the drop lords, here comes the German taxi. And as you mentioned, Mute is vulnerable. He's weaker than he once was because he's being so greedy. Yeah, so greedy here with his tech. Mute, what does he have to defend? He has 1 Immortal, 3 Sentries, 2 Adepts. He has no army, to be honest. Like, there's nothing here. Yeah, there's almost nothing here. We got Vanilla Stalkers warping in. Wings, they do get us around. They catch out the Adepts. Getting on top of the Sentry. The other Sentries! Sentries get caught out as well. Massive pickups. Here come the Queens of the Void Ray. Queens do drop in. Sniping the Oracle. Immortal gets surrounded, and there is nothing here. There's nothing here. There's nothing left. In the end, Eba, he will break through. He will overwhelm. And he will punish Mute. Fun fact, Eba didn't even know. Eba, he didn't even scout the main base. He had no idea what was going on. He just went for the all-in anyway. The all-in does hit harder on Ruby Rock. And again, Mute was just so greedy. He was so greedy. GG gets called, and Eba will take the series 2-0, advancing on to the next round. GG. GG, well played, Eba. He will claim the series. Again, hyper greed out of Mute, going double Forge, going for the Robo, going for the Twilight Council, Templar Archives. Again, so much money being spent on tech and on upgrades. That's why the army was non-existent. He had 2 Adepts. He had 2 Adepts. Sorry. He had 3 Sentries. He had 2 Adepts. He had like a Warp and a Stalkers. He had 1 Immortal. Like, he had no standing army there. GG, well played. Risky move there by Mute. The Gamba was real. Didn't pay off. Did not pay off. GG, well played. With that, congratulations to Eba. When it comes to Eba's build, I would say that he had no real indication that his opponent was being greedy. He was just going for an all-in anyway. All-ins are common on Ruby Rock, so we just committed. And again, he had gone for an all-in the previous game as well, so we just send it back. We just send it. GG. GG, well played. With that, Eba does claim the series, but at least we did get some late game out of these 2 players in game 1. You know, despite this being an all-in, like, we finally got 1 game where we went all the way to the late game. We got there. That's all I wanted out of this broadcast. That's it. But regardless, GG, well played. Here we go. We're getting into our next series. It is going to be a PvP between Sebestus and UED Soldier. Oh boy.